We drove this old galaxy to Joshua Tree in search of sunshine to escape the gloom of winter, and we found so much more. It's funny how when you travel, some places feel like magnets. We were drawn back here, as were countless other nomads who were strangers just a couple weeks ago. But after the Thanksgiving of a lifetime, we were suddenly friends, exploring the desert together. Joshua Tree is a funky place, and if you couldn't tell by my choice of RV, I like funky things. But after a month among these boulders, it's almost time to say goodbye. Yet somehow I can't help but feel like this desert still has a bit more in store for us. So not only is Joshua Tree like a super just amazing place to look around in and play in, there's a lot of like really cool and really weird stuff going on here. So today is our last day in the park. We're going to get into the galaxy over here. I'm gonna show you around, show you some spots that I'm interested in seeing. Specifically, there is this one spot that has some weird history. Let's just say it gets a little bit creepy. Possibly. So on that note, let's start this day with coffee before we get into all of the myths, legends, weird places, weird history, and yeah, we're gonna need this. Good morning. Oh, good boy.
Good morning. Thank you.
No! I'm so sorry about that. Anyways, you want to go explore today?
Yeah, let's go explore. It's a nice day.
I know.
I'm glad we kind of got up on the earlier side.
Yeah, there's like so much I want to see in the park, and I feel like we'll only be able to see so much.
I want to see that weird thing.
What weird thing?
That cool thing you were telling me about.
There's a lot weird about Joshua Tree National Park, but I think this one is probably pretty high up there on the list. Let's go get ready, brush the mane, and go have some fun. Oh my god. Jesus. Yeah, welcome to my chaotic reality. This is like a very real side of exploring the world in this way, living this kind of life. Well, you know what? It's as good as it's gonna get. Okay, so at this point, I bet you're probably like, Carolyn, oh, can we maybe stop it with like the cryptic messages? Like we're going somewhere like weird. Spit it out though. So here's the deal. You have to understand like the way I like to travel. I am attracted to places that are weird. And if you've been to Joshua Tree National Park, or if you even like know anything about it, you know that this place has a lot of weird stuff going on. Like there's a lot of legends and beliefs that are in this area. And it attracts a lot of interesting people. And okay, so this is the stuff I like to explore, I like to learn about, but it tends to like, when you find these places that have a little bit of like a weird history, there's some myths and legends around them. Once you dig into it, you find some interesting stuff. And of course, as I always do before visiting a new place, I dug deep into the weird history of Joshua Tree National Park. And that's how I found out about the mystery of the Iron Door Cave. So hidden deep within the park, the cave is said to have this like big, heavy iron door that is built skillfully into the surrounding boulders. But no matter how hard I look, no one seems to know for sure who built this, why they built it, or what or who they were trying to keep locked up in there. But don't worry, because there are plenty of crazy theories on why this thing even exists in the first place, and hopefully we'll get into them if we can actually find this thing. But I will say, the one thing that everyone seems to agree upon is that this thing is very well hidden. Well, we just said goodbye to our friends. We've been in Joshua Tree, or at least the area, for like a month now. But for now, it's time for us to hang out and go find something weird, so let's get a move on.
We're moving.
We're we're here. This is the closest parking lot to the elusive Iron Door cave. But here's the fun or not so fun part. We know that this is where you should start, and we have the coordinates on where to go. It's somewhere back here, but there's no like straight path to get here. You kind of just have to figure it out for yourself. And in the meantime, the history of this cave is so weird. But since I don't have service and I want to make sure I give you all the correct details, let's consult future Carolyn for all the information. So again, there's not a lot of information out there. The cave is not acknowledged on the National Park website or any official maps, but rumor has it that the cave was built by the one, the only Joshua Tree's legendary Bill Keys. He was born in Russia in the late 1800s, ended up coming here to the desert where he built a pretty incredible life for himself, but he was actually convicted of murdering his neighbor in one of those real life like Old West shootouts, and it was basically over some bad blood, like a property dispute. But the craziest part is Keys was actually sentenced to San Quentin prison, but he was let out a few years later on what everyone agrees is like a technicality. Before all that happened, Bill Keys actually built this massive ranch throughout like the 1910s, the 1920s, within what is now Joshua Tree National Park. But when I say ranch, what I actually mean is like a town. Like this was a 160-acre ranch, and I literally had to write down everything that they built because this is crazy. So the Keys family, they built a
house, a store, 2 schoolhouses, a house for a teacher, outhouses, sheds, a stamp mill, a corral, a supply yard, an orchard, a cement dam, a lake, a windmill, irrigation systems, and a cemetery.
So considering how resourceful Bill Keys is and how much he actually built, it's not out of the question that he built this Iron Door cave, especially since the cave is actually only about a 2-mile walk from the ranch's main house. So assuming that we've answered the question, who built this, the next question is why? Well, that is where things get a little weird. But first, let's go see if we can even find this thing. Alright, so we've reached the point where we're off the road, and now we're just kind of on, it's sort of a trail, kind of in between these big rock formations, and based on what I can find and what I see with the coordinates, this should be the best way to get to where the cave is. So our goal now is to just get into the general area, and then there's the whole other challenge of actually being able to recognize the door, because from what I understand, it is that well hidden that you have to really know what you're looking for. So we'll see.
Looks like it's straight ahead. Looks like it's right up here.
Okay. Ready? Okay, it's somewhere in this general direction, and I have pictures on my phone of what it looks like from the outside. So once we're at the point where we're like on the spot, that's when we're really gonna have to start using our eyes. Okay, so basically I'm looking at all these crevices under these huge rocks because based on the pictures I can see. Nuh-uh. Did you find it?
Found it.
Oh shit. No way. Okay. What do we have here?
The cave.
Oh my god. Here it is. Oh shit. Whoa. It's a butt. So creepy. Hey, you can stand up in here.
I know, it's pretty nice.
It's hotter than the galaxy.
It is.
Okay, we found the cave. Ooh, so basically there are 3 main theories on why this cave even exists, especially with the Iron Door. I'll start with the most acceptable ones and then end with the freaky one. So number 1, the one that most people agree on, is this could have been used to store William Keys' dynamite. Basically, I don't know much about dynamite, but from what I understand, it's supposed to be stored in cool, dry places. So this is somewhere that it could be in a cool place, especially in like the 120-degree weather in midsummer in Joshua Tree. Number 2, the possibility is this could be where William Keys stored his gold, but most people don't really believe that one because there's not a lot of gold mines around here, so it wouldn't really make sense to lug it all the way over here. But number 3, which I feel like we should talk about a little bit more, is is William Keyes had a son who they say was raving mad. It seems like he was probably schizophrenic. Apparently he is accused of murdering someone, and it is said in legend that this is where William Keyes kind of trapped his son to kind of protect him, or protect the world from him. So I don't know what you believe, but the idea that somebody was trapped in here is freaking terrifying. Ooh. Let me out! Yeah, luckily I think the lock is gone, so that's good. Yeah. Are you happy we found it?
I'm so happy. That was cool.
That was so cool. Okay, so we just got to our next destination. I have an idea for us, so I want us to feel this one out. Basically, whenever I go to a new place where we're exploring, like the places that I love to look for are weird, wild, and wondrous. So like those are my categories, and basically like we've already hit weird, like, so that brings us now to wild, which really fits what I'm about to show you. I'm about to introduce you to a very evil plant. Yeah, I'm about to show you a cholla garden. So who knows if I'm saying that correctly. I'm still recovering from calling saguaros cigarros in a TikTok video, and everybody laughed at me. So these babies, they are called jumping chollas, and that is for a really good reason. It's very brave of me to not be looking at the ground right now, so I'm gonna try not to move around very much. But yeah, the first time I came across a garden like this, I was enamored with how beautiful it was. I'm taking pictures on my phone, I'm taking videos, when suddenly a bee lands on me, and I don't like bees. This is a stupid reaction, but I did jump backwards and freak out a little bit, and what do you know, I jumped into a whole bunch of these prickers. Because the way that these spread is they break off, they end up on the ground, they blow in the wind, they'll end up all over the trail, and oh my god, they hurt so bad. All it takes is like the lightest touch to get them stuck into your skin, and not only that, they barb. And during that whole process, I basically tried to take them out with my hands because the entire like little fuzzball will stick onto you. Fuzzball. And for the next 3 to 6 months, I was taking prickers out of my hand. They were that deep. So I would say that these guys are the definition of wild for our weird, wild, and wondrous little trip we're taking together. Just made it to our site, but here's the thing, it has been a big day. I don't know if it's the desert sun, which is why I'm so tired right now, almost like a little bit loopy, but I promised you wondrous. We've done weird, we've done wild, now time for wondrous. So where we are for the night, this is actually the south side of Joshua Tree, and if you're familiar with the area, you'll know the north side has public land that is close to like towns, shopping, whatever, but on the south side, it's much more remote. We're like right off I-10, but the closest town is like 30 miles down the mountain. But with that said, here's the wondrous part. We are going to go for a sunset walk, just about a mile, probably not even, to go get takeout for dinner. So even though you can look at the campsite, like we are in the middle of nowhere, just you wait and see where we're gonna go.
Thank you.
Let's go. Oh, we still have light. So this is our path. This is our road to dinner. Is it really gonna take us anywhere? Let's find out. What are you doing? Are we delirious? Has Joshua Tree Desert Sun got to us? We've lost our minds. Wait for me! Really losing daylight. So now here's where we kind of get back into the category of weird. Basically, again, even though we're in the middle of nowhere, there's a rest stop here that we are parked just less than a mile from on the dirt road. But again, being in the middle of nowhere, literally people who work here live here. And if you look over here, there is a war museum. So this used to be a training center, I think before or during World War II, and that's why you have all of these old rigs, you have these tanks that are just out here in the middle of the desert. So it's a funny spot. Like we're nowhere near anything, but there's a lot of history here and there's a small community and there's dinner. I find it so weird to think about how all of this was being built around the same time as the Keys Ranch. Chirico Summit was founded by Joe Chirico, who visited Los Angeles in the 1920s for a football game, and apparently fell so in love with Southern California, he decided to build something out of nothing right out here in the middle of the desert. And you know, I think the reason I love all this weird, wild, and wondrous stuff is because of the people. Because people are weird. No matter who you are, where you come from, or what century you lived in, there are so many fascinating lives lost to time of people who did the unexpected. And sometimes something as simple as stumbling across a rest stop in the middle of nowhere can lead you deep down into a rabbit hole of the small mysteries of somebody's life story. And I guess that's a big part of why I started this new chapter of my life on the road in the first place. I just want to keep uncovering all these little reasons to turn the next page.